Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fredericksburg Today Tonight. We're going to be going over some news that happened today. At least that's what people reported today. So let's see what we got first. So, right off the bat, if you haven't heard, a Spotsylvania teen was fleeing after a prank ding dong ditch and got shot. The resident could face a murder charge. People are conflicted. Some people understand. Yeah, I would have been upset too if somebody was ding dong ditching me at 3 in the morning, and other people are like, one, that's a kid. Two, supposedly the person left their house to pursue the child and then shot them. So, yeah, not the best. Again, we have patch news updating on the high school senior killed. Second teen shot in robbery, which is something completely different to everything else. Let's read a little bit more. High school senior killed to robbery was due to graduate later this month outside a River Club home. High school senior was scheduled to graduate. Second teenager was also shot. Deputies responded to a home in Mackenzie Lane around 3 a.m. for a report of a burglary in progress in which shots had been fired, according to the incident report. Sheriffs told the Fredericksburg Free Press, which we saw right before this, the resident at home shot two teens after confronting them as they came back out of the back of the home. Also, something weird people were saying is, why do you have a doorbell on the back of your door? I guess a ring doorbell would be a little bit more understandable. They want that footage there in case somebody does pull up. But yeah, why are you shooting people who just dinged on your doorbell? A little crazy. And so, as of 5 hours ago, he has been charged with murder for shooting the Massaponack High School kid. 27-year-old man is facing multiple charges, including second-degree murder. Don't murder kids that knock on your doorbells, everybody. This is just some Virginia news in general. So, the Fredericksburg Advance is reporting that the social safety net is unraveling. A new approach is needed. Let's see what they have to say here. The first announcement after 85 years of service, the Rappahannock United Way would be shutting down doors. This was a difficult decision to make, said a notification on the organization's website, following a comprehensive review of operations and the evolving needs of the community. A second look at growing concerns in Virginia over the future of housing assistance funding. If you look at all funding Virginia has for housing-related initiatives, the state supports about 10% of the federal funds, and the federal funds account for 90%. For the last 3 years, localities are going to have to face their collective social problems with a clear-eyed understanding that the burden for doing so will fall on local residents. How much they're willing to address these problems and how they choose to approach them will determine our economic health for a generation to come. A story in today's New York Times, the Trump proposal would abolish two programs that finance long-term housing, the Condominium Care Program and the Housing Opportunities for Person with AIDS, and move them to the Emergency Solutions Grant Program. That program finances short-term shelters and housing limited to 2 years. 2 years is probably a good amount of time to get back on your feet, especially if you're given discounted government housing. But it's all a case-by-case basis. You can't make it just on one person. In Fredericksburg, the COC has been a leader in organizing those nonprofits to serve people with a range of housing problems, helping jurisdictions better understand the issues, leading to discussions about affordable housing. It's not just programs that have been heavily supported by federal dollars that are facing changes. The United Way's announcing closing likely happened because it struggled of late to redefine its mission. Look at that. Percent of Americans who attended church. What does that have to do with this? Okay, next. Rethinking the Social Network, which was the name of this, okay, of the whole thing here. There are no easy solutions to challenges. A number of states and communities are experimenting with guaranteed incomes, a 2022 report. States lead the way. The Economic Security Project examines these programs, their eligibility requirements, and how they are working. Yeah, people have been talking about guaranteed income for quite some time. I doubt it's ever going to be a thing, especially in this current administration, but honestly, who knows? Crazier things have happened. So it seems like affordable housing is, on the low, which obviously we know. And the programs that give people, a little bit of leeway to kind of get these houses is losing a ton of funding, which isn't surprising. And of course, as per most of these kind of things, the federal government is saying the states should handle it more, personally, which agree and disagree. They say you need to have a hard stance, and honestly, no, because the world is not fucking black and white, people. The world is not black and white. There's a little bit of gray area. There needs to be support from both sides, not just the states. If the states did all the things, why are we states? We might as well just be our own countries at that point. On Monday, 7:30 p.m., they did a school board regular meeting, a budget update, a facilities update, and Gladys West Elementary conversion and new middle school update. If you are unaware of the way the schools are working, which I didn't know exactly how it was going. I thought it was going to be a little bit different, and then I got corrected. So the new school that's being built is the new Walker Grant. And Walker Grant Middle School, which it is now, is going to turn into Gladys West Elementary. It is not the new school is becoming Gladys West Elementary. The new school is becoming Walker Grant Middle School. And Gladys West Elementary is going to take over the current Walker Grant Middle School building. In other news, Glenn Youngkin signed last week includes an increase in a support cap that would result in approximately $500,000 of additional state funding for city schools. Fredericksburg City Public Schools is moving closer to the installation of rooftop panels atop Gladys West and Lafayette Elementary Schools, which are right next to each other, the new middle school, and the Walker Grant Center. The age of roofs at elementary school and James Monroe means those buildings won't be included in the initial install. On Monday, staff will recommend a partner company for that project. This is something else I've been hearing a lot about recently, and that is government buildings should be the number one buildings to start getting solar panels on them. Parks and Rec, one of the superintendents, has just offhandedly mentioned that solar panels would work amazing on the roof of the main shop. Whether or not that's going to happen is up for debate, but it's likely that the Fredericksburg City Public Schools, at least Lafayette and Gladys West, will be receiving solar panels, which honestly is amazing. A group of Lafayette Elementary School families raised concerns on Monday's school board meeting about how the new opening of Gladys West Elementary in August could affect staffing at Lafayette, which is very true. I've heard that they are taking some of the people from Lafayette Elementary and some of the people from Hugh Mercer Elementary, and they're putting them in Gladys West Elementary. Now they need to hire more people into Lafayette and Hugh Mercer. So yes, that's what happens when you build a new school. Brittany Walker, the president of Lafayette's Parent-Teacher Association, spoke on behalf of the families. The expansion reflects growth but raises urgent questions about staffing, equality, and support during this transition. By equality, we mean fair access to highly effective educators, qualified support staff, and consistent leadership regardless of what building the student is assigned to. They wanted full transparency, which is a big problem in the city right now, about current and projected staffing needs. We started to compile a list and confirmed with some of the staff members about their plans. The issue we saw happening is that Lafayette was losing teachers in droves, which not only did Walker Grant Middle School lose a bunch of teachers last year, more and more teachers are moving to different surrounding areas because they're just simply paying more. And that's a big problem with our city government here in Fredericksburg in general. We are paying less than all the surrounding areas. So unless you're really, really dedicated to living in Fredericksburg and working in Fredericksburg, you do not care one way or the other. You have bills to pay. Screw the city at that point. So, yes, they are just talking about making sure they have enough support in the school system as we're going through this transition. Fair, very fair, parents. Thank you for speaking up. So, if you are around the age of 18 to 20 something, you will know about Germanna Community College here in the Fredericksburg area. Let's read a little bit more about it. It's been recognized as an opportunity institution, which I did go to Germanna for one semester in the summer, and the price of the class was tremendously cheaper than my classes at Virginia Commonwealth University in Richmond. And the speed of it was, I think, just 8 weeks because it was in summer, 6 or 8 weeks, something like that. It went by incredibly quickly. It was very informative. I took an applied mathematics class there, learning how to use spreadsheets and learning how to look at income tax and using these spreadsheets to inform myself on how to look at interest rates, even though at the time interest rates were less than 1%, but I learned. Well, I memorized. Learning is remembering, and I don't remember. Memorizing is remembering, but it's easily forgotten because you didn't learn it. That's what they say in acting school, at least. Anyway, the classification of colleges and universities by the American Council on Education and Carnegie Foundation for the Advancement of Learning may sound like a yawner of a subject for a quintessentially higher ed insider baseball, and often it is. A new announcement from Germanna Community College, however, that the school's been named one of the nation's opportunity colleges and university by Carnegie and ACE packs all the punch of a walk-off grand slam home run at the Nationals Park. In other words, Germanna is playing in the big leagues. A lot of baseball talk there just to say Germanna's doing really good. Nearly 4,000 colleges and universities by size are awarded this in the mix, nearly 3,927. Traditionally, the system has allowed researchers to compare applies apples to apples when examining schools. This year, Carnegie and ACE are introducing a new way of examining colleges and universities, the Student Access and Earnings Classification, which identifies the extent to which the institution provides access to students from lower socioeconomic and historically underrepresented racial/ethnic backgrounds, along with the degree to which the institution students go on to earn comprehensive wages in the context of their geographic location. In non-crazy wording, it looks at schools that are representing underrepresented people and comparing those people to the degrees that they get and the jobs that they end up finding within the same area that they took classes in, which it apparently scores amongst the best. It makes a lot of sense. Germanna is good for all of the reasons I stated before, and the Fredericksburg area is certainly full of ethnic minorities. Just in Fredericksburg alone, a lot of our schools are Title I, and That just means we have a lower socioeconomic class of people that typically go to these schools more often than not. So these kids are graduating from Fredericksburg City Public Schools and around, going to Germanna, and actually succeeding. So, mwah! Wonderful, Germanna. I'm proud of you. Happier in this city. Mother's Day is coming up, so let's take a little look at where you can, where the patch is recommending you take your mother here in Fredericksburg. So, our list is Firebird's Wood-Fired Grill. That's hard to say. Firebird's Wood-Fired Grill. Firebird's Wood-Fired Grill. Firebird's Wood-Fired Grill. Firebird Wood-Fired Grill. I messed it up, but I kind of did it on purpose. It's all right. I went there a long time ago. I haven't been in a while. You know, I can't say one way or the other. 5 Chop House and Bar. Never been there. Meh. Casey's Restaurant. I haven't been to the restaurant, but I've been to the bar. The bar is way too expensive, but the drinks are delicious. So, take that as you come. The Melting Pot. A little, you know, not as classy, but classy enough to feel like you're classy. So, not a bad idea. Orleans Bistro and Bar. Never been. BJ's Restaurant and Brew House. Kind of like the Melting Pot. It's fancy, but like lower end fancy. I went there for my birthday like 2 years in a row because I didn't have anywhere else to go. I've been there relatively recently, not here in Fredericksburg, but in Virginia, and it was a good time. Mi Rancho, authentic Mexican food. Amazing. Amazing. I love Mi Rancho. Go to Mi Rancho. Red Lobster. We all know about Red Lobster. Do I really need to say? I really need to say Red Lobster. It also talks about Bravo Italian Kitchen. If you're having a big eatery with a ton of people for Mother's Day, maybe just a lot of families showing up, I'd recommend Break Bread with Us. It's on Wolf Street, I believe. It's right next to the city center, right next to the parking garage. You need a reservation for it. It serves a ton of people. It looks delicious. I haven't been, but I really, really want to go. So I've been seeing this all around Fredericksburg. Washington Heritage Museum's honoring America's first mother. This happened on the 4th, but let's still go over a little bit. Saturday, it had Art in the Park. Local artists and crafters showcased their creativity every first and third Sunday at the Fredericksburg Farmers Market at Herkamp Park. This has nothing to do with this. And then Sunday, there will be a monumental celebration honoring Mary Washington. Join the Washington Heritage Museums to honor Mary Washington and her contributions as America's first mother. So that all happened on Sunday, May the 4th. We honored America's first mother, Mary Washington. Quick news. Partial remains of 3 U.S. Civil War soldiers reburied in Fredericksburg's National Cemetery, which is a beautiful place. If you've never gone through and walked, you should. They were discovered in 2015 during the construction of Riverfront Park. Wow. I did not know that. That is incredible. All right, so opinion piece. Fredericksburg's budget is small c conservative, meaning it's, conservatives are typically on the Republican scale, but it's saying it's small. Will McIntosh, he is one of our city representatives. He is the one of the members at large. He does not represent a ward of people. He represents everybody. So, in our council meeting a couple years ago, I called our fiscal 2026 budget conservative. I know that's not a word people usually associate with me, but precisely I described it as a conservative budget in the old school kind of small c sense of the word conservative. When I say it's conservative, I mean that it is sober and clear-eyed about risks ahead in the next year, and it seeks to mitigate those risks as much as possible. It is a budget that seeks to balance the real needs of the city and all the residents in the best way we can while being cautious about what the future holds over the next year. It's small c because it's realistic about our needs. What are those choppy waters? First, the risk comes from the uncertainty of what our friends on the Potomac, to borrow a phrase from Deputy City blah 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 blah, are going to do. Both the city's budget and the school's budget rely on federal funding for some extent, particularly the schools. Head Start, school nutrition, Title I mentioned that earlier, and special education all rely heavily on federal funds, as do FXBG Go, their public transportation system. Our victim witness assistance program, social services, housing initiatives, altogether is more than $15 million budget out of a $136.8 million budget. Second, there are risks that come from economic instability. Less than half of our tax revenue comes from property taxes and personal property taxes, which is unusual for a Virginia locality. Most localities rely more on property taxes than we are, but we are lucky to have a strong economic engine downtown and in Central Park that generates a lot of sales. In the meantime, the economic uncertainty, like this one, that reliance can be a problem. Sales, meals, and lodging taxes can fall much faster than property taxes. Our council will have an approach with the small c conservative mindset. We have taken a number of steps to build a budget that will be as resilient as the problems we face in this uncertainty. City manager proposed a 3.03 increase. We advertised a 0.06 increase, and we've currently settled on a 0.04 increase. We want to have enough reserve funds that we can help mitigate the disastrous impact. They plan on holding back $6 million in appropriation authority. They're planning to adopt a budget approximately $136 million, but they're only planning on approximately $130 million. That $6 million will compel our city departments and some of our partners to plan for how bad the fiscal year comes. So they have a $136 million budget for next year. They are increasing taxes on property, because that's what makes the most money, by 0.04 cents. And they are saving $6 million of that $136 million budget in case things go really bad and a lot of federal funding is taken away. Understandably so. At least they're not talking about the data center in this. And that's the news for tonight. I'll see you again tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. You will get news from me. Have a good night. Stay informed.